Hello, and welcome to Storytime here on Build-A-Bear Radio. I'm your host, Victoria, broadcasting from my home library to share these wonderful stories and grand adventures with you this summer. As a teacher of literature, I can tell you every story is better with a furry friend by your side. I've got my friend Floppity Bunny sitting right here next to me, and we have some exciting stories for you this week. What a treat we have for you today, friends. Janae Marks is here to read from her book, From the Desk of Zoe Washington. She's going to be introducing us to a 12-year-old who has set herself quite an extraordinary task. Hello, Janae.
Hi, my name is Janae Marks, and I am the author of the middle grade novel, From the Desk of Zoe Washington. It tells the story of 12-year-old Zoe, who aspires to become a pastry chef when she grows up. Her big dream is to compete on the Kids Bake Challenge show on the Food Network. But on her 12th birthday, she unexpectedly receives a letter from her father, who she's actually never met because he's been in prison her entire life. She decides to write back, and in getting to know him, learns something pretty surprising, that he might actually be innocent of his crime. So Zoe decides to set out and discover the truth. From the Desk of Zoe Washington is available as a hardcover, ebook, and audiobook. You can find it wherever books are sold, including your local independent bookstore as well as your local library. I'm going to read from the beginning of From the Desk of Zoe Washington. Chapter 1. The day I turned 12, I was certain it'd be my favorite birthday yet, but then I got the letter. I just had my dream birthday party at Ari's Cakes. Mom's friend Ariana owned the bakery in Beacon Hill, my favorite neighborhood in all of Boston. It had cute brick buildings and townhouses with cobblestone streets. There was a deli with baskets of fresh fruit for sale outside, a chocolate shop, a coffee shop, and a ton of fancy restaurants. And then there was Ari's Cakes, with its pretty pale blue awning and a wooden sign above it with the store's name written in white script. Her front window always had lots of cupcakes on display, along with fresh flowers. You could smell the sugar before you walked in. Even though it was pouring rain outside, I felt like the luckiest girl. I'd been in a professional kitchen with my best friends, Jasmine and Maya, as we baked and decorated chocolate fudge cupcakes. When my parents and I got home, Dad pulled his rain jacket hood onto his head and rushed inside with a box of leftover cupcakes. Mom, using an umbrella, carried my gift bags. I hurried behind them and on my way in, grabbed the mail from the mailbox next to our front door. While I kicked off my sneakers in our foyer, I flipped through the envelopes, checking to see if my great-aunt's birthday card arrived. She usually included money, and I was dying to add an egg separator to my baking supplies. There was a catalog and some junk mail from credit card companies. And then I spotted a plain white envelope with my name, Zoe Washington, and my address handwritten in neat blue print. I glanced at the return address and froze. Massachusetts State Penitentiary was typed on the upper left corner across from a waving American flag stamp. The name, Marcus Johnson, was written in that same blue handwriting above the prison's name. It was a letter from my convict father, a man I'd never heard from before. I couldn't believe it. Just like that, my birthday didn't matter anymore. The envelope slipped from my fingers, landing on the floor. My dog Butternut ran over and started licking it, but I snatched it up and dropped it onto the table next to the front door. Why would Marcus write to me? Why now? I only owned one picture of him, which Grandma had given me, since Mom would never approve. It was one of Mom's pictures that Grandma had saved from when Mom and Marcus were high school sweethearts. I had hidden the picture between the pages of one of my journals. In it, Marcus was at a Boston Celtics game, wearing a team sweatshirt and a huge smile. My smile looked like his, which was weird. Someone I never met had the exact same smile as me. And his brown skin matched mine. Mom's skin was a little lighter. Now Marcus was sitting in a prison cell, probably wearing an orange jumpsuit. That's how I imagined people in prison. I bet he didn't smile much there. I picked up the envelope and rubbed my thumb across the seal. But all of a sudden, my fingers stopped working and I froze in place. I wanted to read it, but I also was terrified of what it might say. He committed a terrible crime. What if he'd written something scary? It was only a piece of paper, but the feeling wouldn't go away. I took a deep breath and started to open the envelope again, but then I heard Mom come down the stairs. I knew it was Mom and not my stepdad Paul because she was humming a song, which she did a lot, especially in front of the bathroom mirror when she was putting on makeup. She had a pretty good voice, but she always said it was because of the bathroom acoustics. That was wrong, because my stepdad sometimes sang in the shower, and the acoustics didn't stop him from sounding like a dying coyote. I quickly tucked the letter into the pocket on the inside of my rain jacket. It wouldn't be a good idea to show Mom. I was pretty sure she'd take it away without letting me read it. I hoped she couldn't hear how hard my heart was beating. "I put the gift bags in your room," she said. "Thanks." "Did you have fun today?" she asked. "Your cupcakes came out so pretty." "It was amazing," I told Mom. But now I couldn't focus on how amazing it was, not with Marcus's letter taking up so much space in my brain. "This today's mail?" Mom stared at the foyer table, where I'd left the rest of it. "Yep, I grabbed it from the mailbox." "Thanks." But then her eyebrows scrunched together, and her shoulders did what they did when she was stressed. They lifted up toward her ears. She smiled at me, but it was a forced smile, like she wasn't actually happy. She picked up the pile of mail, and as she flipped through it, her shoulders slowly returned to their normal position. I thought Auntie Lillian's card might have come, but I didn't see it. I swallowed hard, thinking of the letter that had come. I wondered if I should tell Mom about it. But what if it made her mad or upset? She didn't like to talk about Marcus. Mom smiled at me for real. "It'll come. Anyway, there's one more birthday surprise for you. We're going to order Hawaiianish pizza for dinner." I forced myself to smile. Hawaiianish was the name I'd given my favorite pizza combo, pineapple and pepperoni instead of ham. Since my mom and stepdad thought it was gross, we usually only got those toppings on half a pie. "Sounds great." I cleared my throat. "I'm going to my room and gonna put my gifts away." It was a total lie, but that's not what Mom noticed. "You're not going to take your jacket off?" she asked. Marcus's envelope was still in my pocket, right over my heart, which was beating fast. "I'll take it off in my room." I walked away before Mom could say anything else. What could Marcus have to say to me? I had to know. Chapter 2. I shut my bedroom door and opened the envelope. The paper inside was a piece of loose leaf, like what Mom would buy to put into my school binders. The words filling the page were written in the same blue handwriting from the front of the envelope, except the print wasn't as neat. I stood in the middle of my bedroom and read the letter from start to finish. And then I read it again. Everything was quiet except for my heartbeat echoing in my eardrums. To my little tomato. Happy birthday. I can't believe you're 12 years old. Wow. Do I sound like a broken record when I say that you're growing up so fast? Do you even know what a broken record is? Everybody used to listen to CDs when I was growing up, but my dad, your grandpa, kept a record player in the corner of the living room. He always says that music sounds better coming from a record player. He might be right. His favorite singer is Stevie Wonder. Have you ever heard any of his songs? He has a pretty great voice. There's this one song called Isn't She Lovely? You should look it up sometime. Stevie sang exactly how I feel about you, my baby girl. Well, you're not a baby anymore, but I know you've got to be pretty lovely at this age. I wish I could give you a hug and see your smiling face on your big day. I'm sorry I can't be there to celebrate with you. I know your mom is doing something special. She was always good at knowing how to celebrate birthdays when we were together. Even if you never reply to these letters, I'll keep writing them. Though, I hope you'll write me back one day. In the meantime, I want you to know that I think about you every day. Love, Daddy. All I could do was stand there, staring at the paper in my hands. I was like the Tin Man in The Wizard of Oz when he needed to be oiled. My arms and legs felt stiff, like they'd weigh 1,000,000 pounds if I tried to move them. Why did Marcus sound so nice? Mom always made it seem like he was a bad person. He didn't seem like he was writing from prison. I wasn't sure how someone in prison would sound exactly, but I guess they wouldn't be so smart. He seemed normal. He liked music, like any other dad. Like my stepdad, who was into classical and jazz music. I'd heard of Stevie Wonder, and I thought I knew a couple of his songs. I'd look up Isn't She Lovely later. I read the letter again. Why had he called me Little Tomato? It was kind of weird. I liked tomatoes, especially the little ones, but I didn't want to be called one. What did Marcus mean when he wrote these letters? This was the first one I'd ever gotten from him. It didn't make any sense. None of this did. I stared at my striped rug as 1,000,000 thoughts swirled around my head like cake batter in a mixer. Should I write him back? What will happen if I do? I had no idea Marcus thought about me. But what if he was pretending to be nice to me because he wanted something from me? What, though? Maybe I should throw the letter away. There was a knock on my bedroom door, which made me jump 2 feet and almost drop the letter. I clutched the loose-leaf paper in my now sweating hands. "Hey, Zoe?" It was Mom. I tensed up. "1 second!" I stuffed the letter back into the envelope and tucked it underneath my purple comforter. I remembered I was still wearing my jacket, so I took it off and threw it over the back of my desk chair. Then I cracked my bedroom door open. "Trevor's here," Mom said. "Trevor? What's he doing here?" As if she could hear my thoughts, Mom said, "He wants to give you his birthday present, since he wasn't at your party." There was a reason for that. He wasn't invited. "Can you tell him I'm busy?" I whispered. Mom's glare made it clear she was not about to do that. "Please, it's my birthday and he's not my friend anymore. Not after he made our friendship out to be a total joke." Mom's expression softened a little. "When are you going to tell me what happened?" I shook my head. No way was I telling her anything. She'd probably force me to forgive Trevor, and that was not going to happen. "You know, as a brand new 12-year-old, Mom said, you're old enough to understand how rude it'll be if you don't come out and thank him for the gift in person." She forced my door open wider. "Come on." All I wanted to do was read Marcus's letter again and figure out what it all meant and what I should do next. But first, I had to deal with my ex-best friend. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you, Janae. Oh, there's so much I want to know about how Zoe is going to handle all of these situations. I'm just going to have to read the rest of the book to find out. However, next we have Victoria Benton Frank here to read from Teddy Spaghetti. How fitting to be reading that on Build-A-Bear Radio, especially with National Teddy Bear Day just around the corner. Welcome, Victoria. Please tell us all about your book.
This is Victoria Benton Frank, and I'm here to read my book, Teddy Spaghetti. Teddy Spaghetti was written by my mother and I a couple years ago when I had a newborn son whose name is Teddy. And because I married an Italian man into an Italian family, we joked that he was my Italian baby. So we started calling him Teddy Spaghetti. And when I was up all hours of the night with my mom, who was a soldier by my side with the baby, we sort of dreamed this book, Teddy Spaghetti, together. So we sat down, and my mom, who's Dorothea Benton Frank, wrote 20 best-selling novels. She knew a thing or two about writing, and I've always been a storyteller, but never put it down on paper. And so I'm thrilled that we can bring this fabulous story about Teddy Spaghetti to you guys. I hope you enjoy. Teddy loved a lot of things about his life, but he really loved 3 simple things. He loved his shiny cape because it made him feel big and strong. He really loved his rain boots because when he wore them, Teddy could stomp through anything. But most of all, Teddy really loved spaghetti because, well, just because. He loved spaghetti so much he wanted to eat it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. He would slurp it, twirl it, and gobble it up. He liked spaghetti with red sauce and meatballs, with white sauce and clams, or even with eggs and bacon. Today, Teddy was a very happy boy, and today was a very important day. He was starting a new school, and as much as his shiny cape made him feel confident, he felt a teensy tiny bit nervous. "Good morning, Teddy. It's a big day. Are you ready for a big breakfast?" said his mom. "Can I have spaghetti?" asked Teddy. "Not today, my sweet boy," replied his mom. "I think I'm feeling a little under the weather," said Teddy. "You're going to be just fine, kiddo. I bet you have a new best friend by lunchtime." Teddy was not so sure. "Mom, I don't feel so good. My elbow hurts. My leg hurts. I have a pain in my neck. My eyes are blurry. My tummy's sick. Maybe I have a fever. I have appendicitis. I'm hot. I'm cold. My blood pressure's through the roof." "Teddy, you'll be just fine. Just be your wonderful self and everyone will love you. Now hand over your cape and let's get moving," said Mom. Teddy didn't feel great about handing over his trusted cape, but he did it anyway. He grabbed his lunchbox and headed out the door. He said goodbye to his mom and walked slowly up to the front of the school. "Welcome, Teddy," said his new teacher, Miss Basil. "Are you ready to meet everyone?" "Ready as I'll ever be," Teddy said with a smile. Miss Basil gathered the kids around, All right, everyone, can anyone tell us what they did over the summer? I finally learned how to ride a two-wheeler. I went to the beach. I got a baby sister. Teddy said slowly, I ate a lot of spaghetti. You must really like spaghetti. What's your name? Asked the girl sitting next to him. I'm Theodore, but everybody calls me Teddy, and I don't just really like spaghetti. I love it, he said. Well, I'm Antonia, but everyone calls me Tony, and this is Petey. Teddy was relieved that he had finally met some friends he could sit with at lunch. The new friends found a table together. Petey looked at his lunch and said, a jelly sandwich. This meal is uninspired. Tony said, bologna, always with the bologna. Oh! Teddy opened his container and smiled. The smell of spaghetti made him think of home, in a good way. Just then, he heard a loud, booming voice. Teddy Spaghetti! It was Brian the bully. Teddy forgot for a moment that he was the new kid and that Brian was much bigger than him. Hey, what did you call me? Said Teddy. Brian the bully spoke more slowly this time. I called you Teddy Spaghetti. Teddy felt his heart sink. He wasn't sure what to say next. But he didn't need to say anything at all because his new friend spoke up. Holy meatballs, that looks amazing. That sauce looks scrumptious. Mamma mia, cooked to perfection, al dente. Teddy told everyone to help themselves. There's plenty to go around. Suddenly, it was quiet again. Teddy turned around to find Brian standing over him, but this time, he didn't look quite so mean. Can I have some spaghetti? He asked, in almost a whisper. Teddy thought for a moment. He looked up at Brian and smiled. Sure. And you know what? You can call me Teddy Spaghetti because I like that name a lot. No, wait, I love that name almost as much as I love spaghetti. Everyone gathered around and enjoyed the spaghetti, down to the last slurp. Even Brian. That night, his mom said, Teddy, I'm so glad you had a good day. What do you want for lunch tomorrow? But Teddy knew the answer right away. Spaghetti with extra forks. The end. I hope y'all enjoyed my very humble reading of this story, and I hope Teddy warms your hearts and becomes a favorite in your households. Everyone stay safe out there. God bless.
Thank you, Victoria, for introducing us to Teddy Spaghetti, though I have to tell you, I'm starting to feel a little bit hungry. Well, that is the last of the wonderful books on our Build-A-Bear summer reading list. Thank you so much for joining me here on Build-A-Bear Radio for the last of our episodes of Summer Story Time. Until next time, I'm your host Victoria, closing this chapter of Story Time.